Welcome to the Straight Path Podcast, where we discuss all things financial planning. I'm Dan Cook, certified financial planner at Straight Path Wealth Management, and I'm joined today by fellow wealth advisor Sam Genzink. Sam, thanks for being on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Sam, you are the newest advisor here, recently graduated from college, studied for the Series 65, got married, all within the span of a very short time. But tell us a little bit more about yourself and what made you want to be an advisor.
Yeah. So I went to Calvin University right here in Grand Rapids, studied financial planning. They have a unique program at Calvin where it's CFP sponsored, meaning I graduated having taken all the classes to sit for the exam. So that was a really cool opportunity. I always knew I wanted to do something within business while also doing something that worked with people and created relationships on the personal side. So that's kind of what got me into this field at the financial planning program at Calvin, and kind of went through the program, really enjoyed the classes, had some cool extracurricular experiences, including an internship here at Straight Path, which is kind of how I got connected to Matt and the advisors and the team here.
Yeah.
And then started full time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And we're glad to have you here. Well, just kind of working back to what I said originally, you had a lot going on at once, right? You were
Yeah.
interning, turning to full time. You were studying for 65, and you throw in a marriage in there as well. How did you adjust to all that stuff going on at one? What was the hardest part of it?
Good question. Yeah, it was a lot of life changes at once. I think something that helped ease the transition was just the team here. Already being plugged into the team here and kind of knowing the process kind of took a lot of the unknowns out of that transition in my life. So yeah, just made all the other transitions a little easier, knowing I didn't have to stress and worry about starting at a new place and getting my feet wet with a new group of people.
Yeah. And going from college to full time anywhere is always hard, right? Because there's theory, which is what you study, the books, reading everything in college. And then there's a real world application. And while you may have done some like case studies in college and you had the internship, which you saw firsthand some of the real world, now that it's full time, you're getting it every single day. What are some of the biggest difference that you see from college to full time? And again, just like adjusting to that, what does that look like?
Yeah, good question. Um, I would say one of the bigger differences from kind of that theoretical case study to now the real world application is just the long term focus in our planning. So when you think about case studies, it's kind of a one off planning situation. But now I feel like my focus has kind of turned into long term thinking. Okay, how is this going to not only affect the client in the short term, but how will this decision affect their long term? So that's one thing. And another thing that I think is pretty cool is just how different every situation is. In the real world, you see a lot of the same situations in the theoretical case studies, but just knowing this is a real person and their situation is vastly different from the person I had a meeting with an hour ago.
Yeah. And it is a real person. So it's not just these books and these made up names that are in there that you're working through. And there's no consequences on that side, if you will. If you look at the real world, there are consequences. We have to make sure we're doing what's right for the client, getting them on the path and making sure they do succeed for the goals they have. So quite the difference, but I think you're making a great transition, and so far so good on that end. Looking back at your college career and just prior to coming to Straight Path, if you could think about one thing that you could have focused on more, or something else you wish you would have done, what would have it been?
I think it could have benefited me to kind of knock out that Series 65 while I was still in school. So maybe in the summer while I was doing an internship here or at a different firm, just to kind of get that done while I was still in the study school mindset, I think would have been helpful. And then just coming into the workforce even more equipped and even more marketable as an individual, both looking for a job and then looking to build my book of business, kind of having that reputation as an already licensed advisor.
Yeah. And for anyone out there that doesn't know, the Series 65 gives the ability to give investment advice. So Sam was studying for that while he was an intern, switching to full time, and he was able to get that passed. But you're able, like you said, you're able to do that in college prior to being sponsored. If it is something you're looking at and want to get in the financial advisor field, that may be something to think about and help you kind of along the way there. So Sam, with you going into the career, just full force ahead there, what do you think you're most excited for?
I think I'm most excited to just start to build my own book of business and start to form my own personal relationships with clients. It's been really cool working alongside some of our advisors and seeing the relationships they've created with their clients over time. And I'm just really excited to start to implement my own thought process in my own clients' lives and just start to build those long-term relationships.
I think you're going to do great at it. I honestly and
Thanks.
truly do. From what I've seen so far from you, you work with the clients and everything, and you're really grasping onto the learning and really just diving right into the processes. So,
Thank you.
you're going to do great in this career. But that's all we have today. So, Sam, I do want to thank you for being on the podcast. Remember, when you plan better, you invest better, you get to live better. See you next time on the Straight Path Podcast.